What's up? Reprise! Hello. What's up out there, everybody? I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Anyway, how's everyone doing out there? We have some of my Patreon. I did a Patreon only live stream a little while ago, and some of those people were asking if this person was going to be here today. And he is. It's Brian Smith in the background moderating the live stream. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Brian got a new camp for the super chat. You said I inspired you to play guitar. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Anyway, that song, that Phil Collins song is trending right now because of a viral video. So I thought it'd be fun to work that out. Now that melody is all pentatonic. It's very bluesy. So there's something about that makes it so good. It's just awesome, that song. Now, if you're as old as me, I remember actually what made that song famous. Do you remember, Brian?
I just remember the rumor about him seeing someone drowning someone.
Yeah, or you heard someone drowning. That's not what I'm saying. What made the song famous?
The sushi bar that down in Newport.
No, no, Miami Vice.
Oh yeah.
There was a super long montage, a rock and roll MTV style music video, in the show to that song where they're driving the Ferrari at night, and it's just no talking. It's just a super long montage that kind of started a whole trend. Ben Gist, how's my day been? Not bad. It's nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Now, if you looked at the thumbnail, this is about rhythm, tightening up your rhythm chops. So I did want to mention that I have a discount until tomorrow on my Essential Blues and Rock bundle at martymusic.com, 30% off. But it's got your starting blues courses, but also blues rock rhythm is in there, bar chord techniques. Anyway, you can go check it out at martymusic.com. But that ends tomorrow at midnight. So that's the Essential Blues Rock Bundle, martymusic.com. I appreciate the support. Only if that's something that you can check it out, and if it's interesting to you, I appreciate you checking it out. Let's see. I did get some coffee, Chris. Chris Dysart here, he was watching my Patreon only, so I said, when I ended that one, I was like, okay, I gotta, Brian, did you put that comment in there?
Which one?
The Essential Blues Rock Lessons Bundle 30% off at martymusic.com? No, you didn't do that. Thanks, Michael. Michael did that. Huge shout out to Michael in Nashville, you guys. Makes the machine run so well. Okay, rhythm. Yeah, so I wrote 5 just overall tips for your rhythm guitar. First of all, rhythm guitar is the most important aspect of guitar. The better you are at rhythm, the better your soloing will be. So keep that in mind. Rhythm might not be the most glamorous aspect of guitar or the most exciting when you think of guitar, but it is pretty much 98% rhythm. And the original role of guitar was as a rhythm instrument, not a lead instrument. So I just want to keep that all in mind. But the tips that I have, a lot of them are pretty obvious, but the first one is listening. Something that's helped me a lot, especially, and I'm so fortunate to have this career that I have of teaching guitar, so I'm constantly listening and analyzing songs, like In the Air Tonight. I'm analyzing it. So what I think you should do is, one, just as much music as you can listen to, you want to listen. That is a part of your ear training and ear development. But if you can, and you can train yourself to do this, is when you hear a song, isolate just with your listening skills, and you'll get better as you do this. Isolate instruments in your head, like focus in, try and hear just what the kick drum's doing, or just what the kick and snare are doing, or listen to just the bass line. I do that a lot. When I first am learning a song by ear, and I have different methods of how I learn a song, but I'm always using my ear. Pretty much the first thing I do is try and hear the roots of the bass, you know? I start hearing that and I go, what note is that? And I just go around on the guitar and I find it. But when you do that, you start to hear how rhythm fits in. Now, as a guitar player, you also really want to listen to the hi-hat of a drummer, because they're doing a lot of the similar, they're taking up a lot of the same rhythmic space in a song in mainstream music. Another thing about listening is playing along with stuff, right? You always want to do that. That's super important. And then also, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but trying to count, like if a song's in 4/4, try and hear the measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. If you can hear those measures, then you can start to feel how the rhythm is fitting in the grid of each measure. So that's all from the listening category. Show Frusciane's muting strumming techniques. I can't stop. A lot of all caps. I don't know about the all caps. You can chill on the all caps. But yes. Okay, so then also something, and I'll talk about John Frusciane, but I'm starting here. Frusciane's up there, right? So another thing is sometimes people's coordination, the two-hand coordination, is what screws up their rhythm. So another thing you can do is when you're like listening to a tune, just mute the left side. And just have a nice pulse going with it. If you hear something like, those are the downbeats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can do that to a song you're listening to. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then you can go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. It's like that. And then you can also have triple, trip. Just like that. So playing along to stuff, even if you don't know the song, you can practice your right hand rhythm. Another thing is when you're working out a piece like Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. Oops, sorry. Any little rhythmic little phrase like that, you want to be able to just nail it super slow and then build up your speed. It up. It might just save your life. That's the power of love. Brian, can you feel it back there?
I thought you were going into hip to be square.
I haven't learned that one
There's some
yet.
similarities for sure.
Hey, ain't broke, don't fix it. AC/DC's been doing it that way for 40 years. And then metronome. So someone's asking about a metronome here. Frankie, is there a way I can get up to speed with a metronome? Metronome is great. I'm going to actually delete this loop, though. And the skills it takes with a metronome is great, right? It's important. So a metronome keeps tempo for you. So it's going to click. I mean, I can, and then you play little exercises to the grid of a click track. And that is something that I use, but I use and this gets to the fifth one. So I have listening topics, right hand only topics, being able to play something super slow and perfectly, then speed it up, playing along to a metronome, which, shows you where you're messing up because the metronome stays steady the entire time. It never flexes with you, like as if you were playing. When musicians are playing together without a metronome and without a click track, the tempos breathe. Even the tightest musicians, the tempo is going to speed up and slow down a little bit just from pure adrenaline alone and dynamics. Okay. But something related to the metronome is a looper pedal. If you can loop, that's going to, being able to create a rhythmic loop is, I think, probably the culmination of all the other things. There's, even if I can just go like make a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4 and loop that's rhythmic, skill. It takes rhythmic skill. So I go, and now I have it. And is it steady? And that's the same thing as a metronome, but I created it myself. So if I don't perfect it, I can delete it and try again. Another thing is just stuff as simple as a muted loop of percussiveness. So there it is. Now I can practice rhythm over it. And let's see. I play a little John Frusciante there because, let's see, John Frusciante was in the thumbnail. So something that's going on a lot with that is this thing, right? But then using just 1 or 2 fingers, let's see, because he goes, shit, sorry. All right, I covered Frusciante there. Sorry, I had to remember that song. But a technique that he's using all the time is your fingers are just muting everything. So here's the rhythm of that Can't Stop, right? But just with my right hand, which is related. Strumming basically the whole guitar. So you want to start practicing. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of muting the D string with the tip of my index finger, and then also muting the note I want, which is 7th fret G. And when I just squeeze down, the note rings out. But I'm using all my fingers to mute everything. And then when I hit that, I'm not striking the E and A string, but the tip of my finger is muting that D string. I'm hearing that. And then the pad of the rest of my index finger is muting the other strings. So then you get this kind of thing. So that's only 2 notes right there, but you're hearing all the strings being muted. A little more advanced than, you know, the overall topics of tightening up your rhythm. But that's a big part of the Frusciante and many other great guitar players. I mean, it goes back to Hendrix. Yeah, let me take a little sip of coffee. Okay, so Brian, my dear friend Brian here, is watching through the live stream. So any important comments you guys have, he's going to see it. And, you know, like obnoxious comments don't even show up publicly. But one person I blocked just because they're stupid. But maybe that's not a positive mental attitude, Brian. What do you see there?
Why do you, when you do rhythm, you tend to go funky? Is funk rhythm?
Funk is a style of rhythm, yeah. So, well, you know, honestly, that's a great question, but it's really just because I like that music. It's as simple as that. So hear me go. Metallica on a Strat. It is Straturday, though. Another thing, you know, just trying to remember off the top of my head, but that was I like that question, and thank you, Brian, for bringing that up, because all the techniques are the exact same. If you're trying to get up to speed of like Master of Puppets, you can just sit there and listen to the song with your right hand and do all, because he does all down strokes. Look, I'm just relaxing. And I can just literally play along and not even worry about the, you know, because that's staying the same, right? So that is a perfect example of like, what I have here is the right hand only thing. You know, you really want to sit there and just stare at it and then coordinate. So I was able to bring up Metallica. That's two people in the thumbnail.
Because that wasn't funky.
It wasn't funky, no, but they have great rhythm.
It almost just sounds percussive.
Yeah, and reggae is pure percussion on guitar. I mean, it's literally like someone with like a triangle or like a clav, whatever, you know. Yeah, you guys just got to keep playing. You just got to keep playing over and over, and you just keep stacking tiny little achievable goals, okay? You don't go from beginner to master without that super long journey in between. And honestly, the journey, you have to enjoy the journey. And I've reminded myself from the beginning of Marty Music, I like cutting my head off. From the very beginning of Marty Music, I've always reminded myself to enjoy the journey, because 4 years ago, you know, I clicked live on Marty Music with 0 subscribers, 0 views 4 years ago. And, you know, if you're thinking about all your past and having to start over, that's super overwhelming. So instead of that, I've always reminded myself to enjoy each step of the way. And now, I'm so glad that I did. Brian, anything else?
Lincoln Chiller has a question.
Go for it.
I noticed when you strum chords, you're able to pick notes out individually. Any tips on your technique?
I totally faked it until I maked it. And I still don't always make it. You know what I mean? Like... As soon as you tell me an exact pattern to play in something like that, I'm screwed, right? So I would say more than anything, you just play a ton, and it's never going to hurt to like get exact patterns, like, you know, or, you know, it's never going to hurt to get exact. You know, to get those and master them, because then what I've always done is like I master those just enough to remember them to make a guitar tutorial for it. And then it's like I've forgotten it. I mean, that one's pretty locked in. I don't even know if I was doing that one perfectly. But from that, I've been able to do stuff, you know. I'm not doing any exact pattern here, and I'm totally not playing good, but what I'm saying is I just take these little skills and then I just kind of improvise and little habits form as opposed to me trying to be exactly like something. Can I do some Buddy Holly lessons like Peggy Sue or That'll Be the Day? Absolutely. I mean, I would love to because they're so easy. I think all you need is it's all 1-4-5, which is great, and I will. Best advice for nailing the SRV style. There's these crossroads in the South that you have to go to, and you meet a guy down at the crossroads, and he has a little contract. He's going to sign you to a deal.
Billy Joe Armstrong wants to know, can I get that mug on your website?
Mm-hmm. This mug, thank you, by the way. Isn't it cool? It's cool to have your own mug, I think, without getting too obnoxious, you know? I don't know. It's a little obnoxious. It's a point. It's a point for. Just go to the YouTube, any YouTube video of mine of Marty music you watch. Right below the square, there's a line of merch, mugs, T-shirts. You can get this in a T-shirt, a mug, etc. And then also coming in the next few weeks, I've got Marty music bandanas that you can use as a face covering or to a cloth for your guitar. And
like little Steven.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've got that coming too. Actually, that's for a different video. But it's more of a Bret Michaels. But yeah. So bandanas though are going to be coming out, and the proceeds are going to go to Music Cares, which is a foundation that helps musicians that are out of work and people in the music industry that are out of work because of the pandemic. So it's like my brotherhood. I spent a lot of years gigging. Brian went to a lot of those said gigs. What was one of the better gigs of mine that you think you went to, Brian? Because there's plenty of bad ones to list, but what was a better one?
I like the Cobb Plan B stuff. That's that kind of music.
Yeah, so many years I played an every Saturday gig. During the same time I was teaching elementary school music, every Saturday at this great kind of jazzy underground club. Like you'd walk downstairs into a basement and old school like
steakhouse.
Yeah, like Soprano. It definitely looked like Sopranos or something.
It's like the place you take your mistress and not your wife. Right?
So yeah, that's funny. I think my parents went on dates there though, but I don't know if they were married yet.
James Dixon has a question.
Okay, James Dixon.
Marty, how about the 16th notes, rest, and those rhythmic tools?
16th notes and rests. Well, there's another kind of way you can go about this stuff, and that's or another aspect of that would be like sight reading for guitar is very helpful, especially if it comes with like an audio companion, like a basic. I used a book called Sight Reading for Guitar, and it actually did really help me. And then I had a guitar teacher that recommended snare drum exercises because it's a lot of the 16th notes, rests, and you can really build up your skill with your reading, which will also help your musicianship and your rhythm. But I'm not a great sight reader, but if you study that and only the rhythms, that's why like a snare exercises is good. There's no notes. It's just pure, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a T, all the way through. And it'll really, really, really help Also, when I'm learning stuff, I count it. I count things through just to learn it. Like where is it? You know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and oh, it's right there. And I use the counting to analyze it to figure out where it is. And then eventually, once you know it, you're not counting anymore. But I've done that. Uh, Simon Zanders, what's happening with your delay pedal? It's funny you mentioned that. I have a little prototype down here of the delay that will most likely end up becoming the Marty Music delay. These things are works in process, but I have it pretty subtly set right now, and you can just here's it with the delay. So you hear that little trail off. It just kind of makes the guitar breathe a little bit. Here it is without. So there's still reverb. That's reverb in the amp. Here's reverb and the delay. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So like 1.5 repeats. So if I play a note, you know, it just trails off. It doesn't sound like, you know, for instance, it doesn't sound like this. You want it where you can barely hear it. Yeah, so. Very subtle, but it is in the works. I'd still love to hear. I don't have a name for it, so if I have my own delay pedal, I'd love to hear name ideas because Schwarzenegger came from asking you guys. So,
There's definitely some ideas up there.
okay, yeah, let me know. Keep the ideas, Brian. Look at the ideas for my new delay pedal. Basic reggae leads are no different than you know, rock and roll leads. Major pentatonic, minor pentatonic.
Will says another brick in the wall has a great rhythm part, and he's right.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and lots of delay. Both of those topics are part of that. I another brick and staying alive. All in all, we're just trying to stay alive. The Marty repeater, I do like that. Another brick in the alive.
Marty's fedora lay.
That sounds dirty for me for some reason.
Best idea.
Keep the ideas coming, you guys. I think I got one more jam for you.
I like this question, Marty. How do you move your hand like that?
Marty, how do I move my hand like that? Well, I definitely have been playing a really long time, so anything I got were habits that just developed from playing every single day. There's definitely way faster playing guitar players than me. I'm not particularly high in my speed skill. Marty's flux capacitor. I love any, Schwarzenegger came from Schwarzenegger, 80s throwback. But I love Back to the Future. I love Spaceballs. Back to the Future, Marty McFly, Spaceballs, May the Schwartz be with you. 80s pop culture, nerdy 80s stuff. That's my jam. If you don't know already, if you've been watching me, you should know. All right, yeah, I think I have one other jam for you guys. Let me give you a few shout outs. We're already 36 minutes in, Brian. So if you decided to watch this or not, that's already happened. Now we're just here. I talked about the rhythm skills, even played little bits of the people in the thumbnail to cover my bases. So we're just here now. I think now we're just here. Now we're just taking up time, taking up valuable space here. Am I into R&B guitar playing? Yeah, I'm not great at it, but like my buddy Carrie Too Smooth, that's like his vibe. I love it. I'd like to get better at it, actually. Uh, New York Groove. How are you playing while singing? The streams go by too fast. Thanks, Josh. Josh Norco was also in my Patreon only live stream, so you're really hanging out with me today, and so is Chris Dysart. And Simon Zanders, Marty's Groundhog, absolutely. Dude, I like that, Simon. Nathan Hicks, Noah Macaulay, Star Wars edits and other stuff. That sounds like an interesting channel to me. Vincent Manillo, Hugh Mungus, Steve Garcia, Jerry Garcia slide lesson. One of these slide? Oh, because he played pedal steel. Like, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. I don't know if I have enough years left in my life to get into pedal steel.
Maybe a guest. I think we gotta.
Yes. Now, my friend Bob Ryan, who's an amazing country guitar player and a guitar mentor of mine, his brother, Kevin Ryan, is one of the great pedal steel players anywhere. So I do actually know someone that's a master. Just Slide. Oh, he's saying Just Slide. Bob is the one that played Just Slide, right? Brian, how much slide did Jerry play? I don't.
I can't think of it.
I feel like Bob's the one that played it and it didn't sound good.
Well, if Jerry played it, it would have been studio
Okay.
recording.
I'm not. I mean, I'm sitting here with a huge deadhead over here, you guys. And I am one too, but Brian's especially one. So I always thought of Bob as like bad slide playing in the Dead live. But what I will say is something I just finished is a Jerry Garcia inspired lesson course that's like a long solo in one key. I tried something different with this course. Instead of like a bunch of licks and techniques, I just created a solo with all the Jerryisms in it, one nice fat long solo, and then teach you how to play the solo, and then also teach you why the things are happening, what chords they're playing over, the theory and the scales that it's all coming from, but in the context of one nice long solo. It's not out yet, but I'd love to hear from you guys if that's something interesting to you, because I've been working on it for a long time because I'm just chipping away at it, in like little bits. I have to remember to like put the same clothes on for each time.
I have a question for the people.
Yeah, Brian's got a question.
Whoever watched the 100 guitar cliches, which character was your favorite?
You guys, any of you guys that watched that 100 guitar cliches, I just want you to know I'm not going to stop giving guitar lessons. But, it's okay to have a little fun and mix things up. So that's why I did that. But Brian wants to know which your favorite was. I know what, like, at least as far as the reaction in the comments and stuff, the favorite seemed to be when I made fun of guitar tricks.
That was awesome.
And, it's with
Number 61.
Yeah, number 61. It was nothing but love, nothing but love. But when you see the same ad like 500 times in front of your videos, where they're basically right before your lesson starts, they say that YouTube guitar lessons are shite, and then my lesson starts, like, you gotta at least have a little fun with that.
Egi Goroku liked the old man.
Oh, the ZZ Top beard. Well, if you liked him, he's coming back. Good news, everybody, or bad news, depending on what side of the fence you're on.
I'm sick of playing the 12 bar.
Now I know why there's so many sequels in this world. Yeah. So anyway, sequel coming to that, and if you guys didn't see it,
Need more mid.
I love that one because all of a sudden like it's like pure mids in the sound. More tone. No, it needs more tone. Like that's funny because there's no definition of that.
Of the word yeah.
Yeah, it needs more tone. More tone, more tone. I gotta give a huge shout out to Maiden Network, the network that my YouTube channel is under, and so much more. But I gotta give a shout out to my guys that I work with and talk to constantly, Michael and Ross, who helped write all of those, and Jacob, who edits all my videos. So they're superstars, all-star talent, Maiden Network in Nashville. Those guys are amazing and good friends and everything. There's nothing like having a little team that like want to see you do well. You know, they don't want to see you do bad or sabotage you. They want to see you do well and help you actually do better than you can do on your own. So for instance, when I did that 100 cliches video, I'm just reading all these different ideas. Although I will say 61, the most popular one, that was me totally, I just made that up on the spot. Like, I think we talked about making fun of the ad, but that was first take, totally, I just tried to imitate in my memory what the ad is. Because the guy's kind of smug, I gotta admit, in that ad. And he's got an accent that I can't decipher, like, what the accent is. It sounds European to me, but, he's just kind of like, they're horrible. Like, he's just so, like, right in your face. So I just made that up on the spot. But another one that was one of my favorites was one of those two where I said, everyone knows you. There's 100 of them, so I don't remember exactly, but it was something about, everyone knows you can't get a good tube amp for under $200. It's good. That's good. I say good in the sentence like 8 times because Ross, who wrote that line, he read it to me out loud through a FaceTime. And like, I'm like, line. And he goes, everyone knows you can't get a good tube amp under $200. It was like a well-written line, and I couldn't remember the line. So I said like good like 5 times, and it just came out silly and funny. So anyway, thanks for watching that. Any other questions, Brian?
A lot of requests.
Requests.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's see. So next week, got a bunch of fun lessons coming out. So I'm looking forward to that. I already shot them. I think I'm a good like 2 weeks ahead right now because I haven't been traveling. So I'm just chipping away. Got a Jerry Garcia course coming out in the future. I'd love for you to be on my newsletter from martymusic.com if you want to find out about that. And then ending tomorrow night, my Essential Blues and Rock bundles on sale. And it's only, it's definitely really good for your foundation and rhythm chops. Blues rock rhythm courses in there that I really like. Tabs are involved. Tabs are included. But it's only if you're interested. I mean, I never want to push something on you if it's not your like cup of tea. So no pressure. Soft sale. And then I think that's it. Just want to thank you guys for the continued support, though. Brian, anything else over there? You got anything to plug, Brian?
Have you done any lessons on Bryan Adams' tunes?
You know what? Bryan Adams and Don Henley should go out to lunch together. Does that answer your question? Yeah, I'm just going to say it, or without saying it. No, I don't do Bryan Adams because there's certain artists out there that are just super, I think wrong and behind the times when it comes to someone teaching their song. How is someone teaching your song hurting you in any way other than promoting the song, as well as you getting to claim the actual lesson and get the ad revenue yourself from my lesson? How is that hurting you? That's what I'd like to know. Like, I could teach a Bryan Adams song, and instead of him taking it off of YouTube or giving me a copyright strike, hurting my channel, he could literally claim it, make the money from it, and leave it up. And it promotes his song. Anyone that learns a song definitely has bought that song or that artist's album, and they like that artist. So all the way around, that's my opinion. I don't like to get into that stuff, but you brought up one of the names of the Four Horsemen.
I didn't know that.
It was one of the Four Horsemen. Yeah, Don Henley's way up there. Axel's, well, it's actually not even Axel. It's the publishers. It's not even, well, Don Henley, it's definitely Don Henley, and it is probably Bryan Adams. But with like Guns N' Roses, like, I mean, Axel's weird, but
Bryan Adams can be so reckless.
it really cuts like a knife, you guys. It really cuts like a knife. Yeah. No, I haven't done any Bryan Adams on Marty music. These are like old lessons I've learned. But, you know, I don't do Prince. I don't do Bryan Adams. Like, something weird happened with Guns N' Roses recently. If you've noticed, my Sweet Child of Mine solo is not up anymore. So, you know, these things happen.
Can I ask a better question?
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know, do you think it helps to try and learn different styles?
Yeah. So someone's asking, should you learn different styles?
Specifically reggae, funk.
Reggae, funk, rock, blues. I like seeing the common thread between all of them. That's like a really, like, the common thread between country and blues is like totally up to you. Totally up to you. Oh, are we done? Is it running an ad? Maybe it ran an ad. No, we haven't gone an hour yet. Oh, barking. I'm going to end with one more jam. Any other questions, Brian?
No, I think we're good. That was good.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for supporting. I don't plan on stopping, so we'll just see you tomorrow and the next day. I got one more jam for you because we got to keep the trend going.
Uh-oh.
Do you know the trend?
Does anyone know what that means?
Anyone know? Tell me when someone says it. There's one song I've played in every live stream for the last few months, so I haven't done it yet, so I got to do it. Anyone know yet?
Nope.
Wow, maybe I won't play it then.
Unless it's Love Gun by Kiss.
No, it's not that one.
Yeah, here we go. Jonathan McBride.
Johnny got it?
Johnny.
Good job, Johnny. We'll do this one for Johnny. That's from The Outsiders.